I'm Siamecat. Welcome to a new show called Mediocrity Hypocrisy, a show where our host, yours truly, will talk about how mediocre some games are despite not even being a game designer.
Yoshi's Island is one of those games that needs one or two really good sequels to avoid becoming a dormant series that's only known for one game released 25 years ago. But there is one slight problem with making a Yoshi's Island sequel. Baby Mario is a large part of Yoshi's Island's identity. Without Baby Mario, there's no plot device. What would the story be about? We'll get to that. How would you even go about making a solo Yoshi adventure? Not like this, that's for sure. Yoshi's Story released on the N64 in 1998. I have a history of disliking this game, which was pretty understandable at the time it released, because it's a very different game from Yoshi's Island. Let's look at the plot. Baby Bowser steals this thing called the Super Happy Tree. Get it back.
It was an attempt.
We aren't even told why the Super Happy Tree is important. Am I just supposed to believe these Yoshis? Yoshi's Story's tone, however, is far more interesting than the plot. The tone is extremely childish. Notice how I left? There's a poem at the end of every level. The poems always end with, "The page turned and the Yoshis grew happier," and the word happy is thrown around more often than my name ever since that shiny new ruler of the world came into power. Remember when so many people thought this was what all Mario games were like? Being a Nintendo fan was a hard job at that time. What do you mean it's always hard? I'm not one to judge artistic vision, but this is definitely not for me. You can still play as a variety of different colored Yoshis, but this time you get to choose. Playing the game for the first time, you might notice the lack of a life counter. That means if you propel poor yellow Yoshi here into a pit, he's dead. You are now down one Yoshi. This means Yoshi's Story is the original Nuzlocke. I do like this change, it gives the game higher stakes. It's just a shame the stakes were lowered way more by the laughable story and tone. You can also find hidden black and white Yoshis, and hidden white Shy Guys that will revive a fallen Yoshi. The progression in Yoshi's Story is weird. There can be 1, 2, 3, or even 4 levels to choose from in any of the 6 worlds. Completing one takes you straight to the next world, so you can't go back and play the other levels in the previous world. So after one playthrough, you've only experienced a quarter of the game. I think they were going for a choose-your-own-story mechanic, but all that changes if you play a different level is the poem at the end, so the only reason to do multiple playthroughs is just to experience more levels. Ah yes, Yoshi's Story, a pioneer in illusion of choice. There are 3 big hearts hidden in every level, and the amount you find determines the amount of levels available in the next world. As far as how they're hidden, it's a lot like flowers from Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Story focuses way less on collectibles in general though. Instead of showing you exactly what you missed, you're instead given a score tally at the end of every level.
Lame!
Because there's no baby on the field this time, Yoshi's Story has a traditional health bar. Now you might be thinking, oh, so that makes this game harder than Yoshi's Island? Well, eating anything restores your health. Just got hit by an enemy? Devour that sucker! While this does make the game very easy, there are enough insta-kill hazards lurking around that I wouldn't describe the game as insultingly easy like so many other people. Probably the biggest problem with this game is how you throw eggs. Instead of the cursor moving automatically while you move, in Yoshi's Story, you have to move the cursor exactly where you want manually. The reason this method of throwing eggs is objectively inferior to how it worked in Yoshi's Island is because you can't move while aiming. It's so slow that it constantly interrupts the flow.
Wait, I accidentally made a poem myself! What have I become?
This means the main unique feature that's in every Yoshi game is mediocre at best in a third of the series. We'll get to that. And it's not even that big of a deal, it's just a minor annoyance that happens to be present throughout the entire game. The most unique thing about Yoshi's Story is its lack of ending points you have to reach in every level. That's right, when you reach the end of a level, all you'll find is a warp that takes you back to the start. The only way out is to eat 30 fruits. This is certainly a very unique idea, no other platformer is like it. But I'm still wondering how this makes sense in the context of the story. What about eating 30 fruits allows the Yoshis to travel to the next world? This system works for what it is, but do I want more games like this?
No!
The most surprising aspect of Yoshi's Story for me was the level design. It's not as good as Yoshi's Island, but it's still so much better than I ever gave it credit for when I first played it. Like Yoshi's Island, it's linear, but still exploration-based, and this time you're given more of a reason to explore, because unlike the collectibles in Yoshi's Island, fruit is not optional. Levels are also longer than Yoshi's Islands. This is to account for fruit you might have missed.
However, it has come to my attention that yes, more than just one Nintendo game has bad level design in there somewhere. Even if it's just one level. Hello, I'm Siamecat from the future. You know this means you have to do that thing you promised now, right? It was pretty fun.
Just like Yoshi's Island, there are still a couple awful levels. World 2-4 is a maze, because of course it is. The same problems from Yoshi's Island apply here. World 4-2 is not fun at all. Insta-kill hazards should not be this hard to avoid. I got flabbergasted by this obnoxious fish 4 times in a row. There's a level simply titled Frustration.
That's me.
Remember how awesome the bosses were in Yoshi's Island? Yeah, they dropped the ball on that too. They're all so easy. This is just sad. There's even one that's impossible to lose. Your only way of attacking him heals you. Still not as easy as Bouldergeist though. The final boss is ruined by too many free health refills, the ending is non-existent, and that's Yoshi's Story. Yoshi's Story becomes a much better game when looked at without the context of it being part of the Yoshi series. It's a fun novelty, but it definitely should not be the standard formula for the series. Yoshi's Story still may be the worst Yoshi game, but I'm finally beginning to realize it's not the complete dumpster fire I once thought it was.
But who knows, come back in 5 years and maybe I'll hate this game again.